in the group. Hope people are on live at the minute, or kind of in Australia. If it's in the evening, in the UK, you've got the morning. In the US, you're probably guys are probably asleep. So I'm just going to do the Ask Me Anything questions. It's a bit earlier in the week. Usually I do it tomorrow, but I'm absolutely flat out tomorrow and can't do that. So thought I'd jump on here if anybody's online to any questions you might have concerning your coaching business. If it's stuck, if there's any problems with that, please just type in the chat and I will do my best to answer that. So, but today I thought I'd talk about, webinars. I'm kind of running my 5-day challenge on one-to-many selling using webinars. Starts on Sunday, opening ceremony, 5 packed full days next week. So if you haven't registered for that, free registration above this live. Put yourself on details. I say, I'm sort of spilling the beans in everything I've been doing in terms of selling on webinars in that challenge. So I'd be love for you guys to kind of show up and give your support and actually learn something so you can actually implement in your own business. So, but I thought in this live I'd talk about a couple of things about kind of one-to-many selling, where a lot of people they're doing a kind of an event, a webinar, and they're actually just doing a presentation. It's like, I don't know if you've had in a work situation, you went through a presentation and you just like all of the eyes drop to the ground. Like, I have to sit through all this, and that it's people are translating that into the online space as well, and just kind of going through some boring presentation, and they're getting no hands raised at the end of the presentation if you're actually doing a pitch or something at the end of it. So that is not how you structure a webinar. Just a question: I do coaching in my country. What do you make? Want to make another country? Also, what is your opinion? Is this doable? More than likely, it is doable. The world is flat in terms of comms. You can be anywhere on the planet and make a living in coaching, because I don't know what the coaching value is, about $3 billion. I think the last in terms of the value of coaching, and only you need a very small slice of that to kind of have a very good living in coaching. Just means have a high income skill. I would kind of learn a high income skill, whatever that might be, in a business, in the top 3 niches: health, wealth, self, and learn a high income skill that you can, solve a problem for your customer. But talking about solving problems, talking about webinars here is, a presentation is not how you kind of demonstrate your authority on, in a live event. Your webinar should be about showcasing, actually show, not tell. Most presentations, they're telling you, they're kind of just, and they're not actually demonstrating the value. Your event should be demonstrating your value, not just a bunch of facts that have no resonance with your audience. So the best thing you can do is find maybe the top 3 things in your niche that you can demonstrate on your webinar that can solve a problem for your audience, and actually showcase that on your webinar. For instance, if you have if you're it's very easy for if you have a software, if you're in the software as a service space, and you have a piece of software, you want to showcase kind of how you can I'm just thinking here, a landing page, or how to build a high converting landing page, and you can actually get onto a call and showcase people how that's actually put together. The copy you have to have, the kind of where the buttons are, kind of all of that. If you can actually showcase that on a live, it's much better than actually, hey, this is what you need to do, X, Y, Z, kind of, and it doesn't resonate because people are not involved in that. They don't have any kind of a connection with that. So if you're doing a webinar, show, not tell, demonstrate that value, and then it's much easier for people to say, hey, well, you've got this value in terms of you can take what I've shown you, or I can do it for you. You kind of do everything that you've seen there. I can actually move it to the next step and actually do it for you. If you already have 5 people to coach every week, what are you teaching others your secrets for a fee? Yes. Um, it's basically you know you are teaching others secrets for a fee. Yeah, it's I wouldn't put secrets. I'm not one to hold back in terms of the value I provide. I'm not this kind of paywall where I give so much there and then I don't. Then I give so much for my clients, and because most of the time, when I'm coming on here, I kind of most time we put out value, putting out thing. Most people never implement it. The brute facts of it. People absorb a lot of information, but actually they don't do anything about it. I think it was a famous speech by Gary Vee. I think at one time when he showed he was on a stage and he said, he was giving so much value and he kind of just stopped the crowd. So most of you here, 99.9% of you will never do anything with it, and he's absolutely right. So I don't kind of have secrets. I kind of if you have people to coach, to give them everything, whether it be free stuff and paid stuff, people will pay you for them to hold your hand to make sure to get the result they want. So yeah, I wouldn't hold back. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying about kind of webinars and kind of show not tell. And if people demonstrate your value and then transition, say, hey, you can take what I have, give everything here today, or I can do it for you. I can take what you can, and we can sit down with you and actually do it with you and show exactly what you need to do to have this high converting landing page. And I'll actually show you the software you need and how to set up that software with all of the integrations you need to make sure you're capturing people's details and nurturing those people with to book appointments for your coaching business. How more powerful is that for people to raise their hands when you've demonstrated on your webinar, a piece of that sort of natural progression of your offer. So your webinar should be the next. Your offer should be the next logical step. What the subject matter you're putting on your webinar. Don't do something that is not. It's a big transition to what they want. You want to kind of demonstrate something on your webinar that is linked to your services, so it's a natural progression for people to say, yeah, get excited about that, and then just stack the value on the offer. I always think when you're presenting your offer, it's not sort of here just listing out kind of a range of services. That doesn't mean anything. You want to get people excited to they feel as if they're invested in that outcome that you're going to get for them, and they're really excited and kind of they're willing to take action on the webinar. You want people to get excited on the webinar and get people to stay to the end of the webinar, because there will be drop-offs and people will kind of drop off. There will be no shows, there'll be drop-offs. There will be people who've seen your pitch and don't buy, and then there are people who do buy. So you have to treat each people differently, and I'll be touching upon that in my 5-day challenge on Sunday, when the follow-up, kind of making sure that you're actually the webinar is not just in the moment getting people to take action on the webinar, but you're actually capturing people's details so you can follow up with those people and book them in and make offers to those people. So it's not just a one-time deal, because with the best will in the world, there's only about 30% of people will actually show up to your webinar. It's that's the reality. Kind of people are busy, and it's a very noisy landscape whereby the people kind of are there's shiny objects all over the place, and you have to kind of stand out to kind of maximize that attention and get people to sort of put their registration and actually follow up with people, have that workflow sequence whereby you're reminding people about the webinar, the value you're going to provide in the webinar, to make sure you're getting people on the webinar. I think a lot of people just put up an event and then kind of forget about it, and then they get they don't get a lot of people attending, you have to remind people, make sure it's in their calendar that actually, and provide value up to the event. Give away something or make it enticing for people actually to attend. That you may be giving away something at the start for if they stay to the end of the webinar, you'll be giving, for instance, if it's software, kind of some kind of free funnel or your own funnel away that you can give away as a freebie on the webinar. So I wouldn't, it's not even, it's doing the content for your webinar is important, but even more important is actually getting people to the webinar and attending and kind of engaging. And talking about engaging, you want an engaged audience. You don't want to be sort of like a passive situation whereby you're just delivering this value, showcasing a part of your services, and that's there's no interaction with your audience. You want to be taking temperature checks with your audience. Very good one is a scale of 1 to 10. How is people feeling today? A scale of 1 to, how is, just say, how does that make sense? Kind of what is your own experience of that? You're just asking questions in the chat, like people here kind of giving me questions. Kind of, you want that engagement back because that makes sure you're getting, the people feel they're involved. People feel they're involved, and they feel more connected to you, and they're more likely to take that next step. So any more questions about webinars and kind of how to engage with webinars? Well, another thing, webinars are part of your event strategy. If you're not running webinars as part of your event strategy, you're missing, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. This is something I found out where I was not doing events. I was just relying on my content solely, moving people from content, maybe having conversations in Messenger, then booking calls. Now that works, but if you really want, when you're adding an event, you're adding your content to support your event strategy, it takes it to another level whereby people don't trust anybody. There's like low amount of trust in social media as it is. There's so many people pitching. You're probably getting this every single day, and there's shiny objects, and you don't know what to believe. Everybody is, I've got the greatest thing, don't do this, I have my thing so much better. For everybody, everything works, by the way. There's no one thing that's there that doesn't work and this works. Everything works. Ads work, organic works, the different aspects of both work. Just do your due diligence. All I'd ask is if you're making an investment, especially kind of a 4-figure investment, make sure that you're doing your due diligence on the coach. You kind of, and more importantly, you have that connection with your coach. If you don't have that emotional connection, it's not really going to work. So kind of make sure you're doing your diligence on anybody you're working with. But if I'm talking about kind of, event strategy, making sure that event strategy is part of your content strategy. Don't leave it out. Run events in your Facebook group, set up your Facebook group. But, people will want to know more about you through your events. That's where kind of you can showcase who you are. Part of you, kind of revealing back the curtain about some aspect of you, and they get a flavor of you, kind of, whether the people are attracted to you or people are not attracted to you. You'll find out pretty quickly. So I would really want people to you would have an events as part of your content strategy. And webinars is my subject of the challenge next week. As that should be a staple of your events. You should be doing webinars and regular events, possibly every 2 weeks. Yeah, every 2 weeks your content should be serving your events. It should be a strategy, a social media strategy around your events that are driving traffic to your events. If you're not, you're just putting content out there hoping. That's not a strategy. You're just spamming in groups and kind of putting 1 or 2 posts in that. It's not a strategy. if you want people to actually move, to take the next step, there's going to take multiple touch points before they trust you. So, and those multiple touch points can be accelerated at an event. If you're running an event, if they're getting a flavor in terms of what your value is, how you can help them, and then it's a much logical step to actually work with you. So you can get and that's why events are so powerful. Is like a one-to-many selling. You get 20 people on an event. If you took 20 people register, and you get 6 people turn up, if for instance, and maybe 3 people buy, and maybe that's a high ticket. Three people buy it. It's sort of like a $2,000 ticket. That's $6,000 you made on an event. Where can you have in sort of a 90-minute webinar? Can you make $6,000? So it makes, please kind of don't forget about kind of running events to showcase your services and demonstrate your services, so people can assess the value you can bring to them. So if there's no more questions on anything, I'm talking about events here and webinars and all that good stuff, because that's the subject of my coming 5-day challenge. But any questions on coaching per se, kind of any stuck on coaching, anything to do with, if not, I'll call this Ask Me Anything session to an end. But if anybody wants on that 5-day challenge, click the above below. I say, just to paraphrase my friend who said, should I be keeping anything back? There's no secrets for free. No, I'm giving you everything on this challenge. I'm not holding anything back. It's not sort of like here's a bit, and I need to pay $1,000 to kind of get the other bit. Everything that I'm doing on webinars and kind of presenting webinars and getting people to raise their hand on webinars, I'm showcasing on that 5-day event. So click the link above if you want to register, and I'll see you Sunday for the opening ceremony. Get 5 days next week. So basically 5 clients in 5 days. There's no reason that you can't get 5 clients off a webinar, none whatsoever. And what would 5 clients mean to you? Let's say $2,000. That's $10,000. That's life-changing for a lot of people in terms of getting. So that is the power of running events. Okay, guys, if there's no more questions in the chat, I will call it a day, and I will see you next week on this Ask Me Anything questions. And for those who register, I will see you on Sunday for the opening ceremony, 9 o'clock UK time, and it'll be 9 o'clock every single day from Monday through to Thursday, which I'll be showcasing live elements of how to run your own one-to-many selling webinar. Okay, guys, I will send it there, and thanks for your time.